Hi, baby girl. Welcome to today's video. I wanted to share a few little things that I've actually been doing for quite a few years to help me reduce anxiety or to barely have it at all. I used to have a lot of anxiety, okay, and I know what it's like. I used to really feel like I was suffocating in my own body and would struggle going to, yeah, basically going to normal situations and things like this. And I have come a long way since then, so I thought this would be helpful because I know a lot of you girlies struggle with it. We can start with saying, what does anxiety feel like? I think we all know, but it feels different to everyone. So sometimes it might feel like you're just kind of suffocating, or there's something stuck in your throat, or else it's you can feel it in your tummy when it's unsettled and you just don't feel great. It feels like also there's a lot of racing thoughts, and yeah, it just feels like a chaos. Like it would feel if I was to feel it right now, I'd feel I think it would be a lot of dysregulation. That's the way that I can describe it. Okay. So I'm going to tell you very, very shortly, sweetly, quickly that some of the best things that have helped me to actually sustain this lifestyle. Because people ask me how are you so happy? How are you so calm? What the fuck? Because it wasn't the case always, of course. So I would say number one would actually be literally just being in stillness. My environment is very important for me. So for example, I live on my own, I live in peace. I guess that helps. But I chose this lifestyle, right? Like I chose to have it this way. So that means that in the mornings when I wake up, there is no stress. Okay, there is no there's nobody adding stress into my life. There is nothing there's just nothing. Okay, so I need to, of course, have the ability to wake up before I start. Work is not going to happen straight as soon as I wake up, for example. I need some time before my day actually starts and before the routine starts for me to be in my body, be able to breathe slowly and just realize what's going on. Look at my surroundings. Okay. In a bit, I open the curtains. I go brush my teeth. Okay, I do this. I put my headset on and I put on either a meditation or affirmations or a frequency. Boom, bam. Very easy. Very easy. And this habit was developed very, a good few years back, and I wouldn't change it for a second. So I wouldn't change it for a second because it works. Okay, so the mornings are actually really important for you to feel safe, calm, and regulated in your body because it's when your body wakes up. It's clear, right? It's not like you should be in a rush. This is not the time. Your life shouldn't feel like that anyway, in a rush all the time or anything, but this is definitely not the time. The morning time when you wake up is the time where you choose to regulate. How can I feel safe in my body? How can I feel stable? How can I feel calm? Okay. So number one would be the mornings. I do not have anybody disturbing me in the mornings. God forbid somebody tried to disturb me, I would be like, excuse me, this is my space. So obviously living on my own really helps, but also yeah, the environment is very, very important. Don't put yourself in situations where you're going straight onto TikTok, all of this, you're literally exposing yourself to cortisol. So if your cortisol levels are increasing, it's stress, anxiety, we don't want that, okay? So you want to minimize the amount of screen time, the amount of shit that you're looking at in the morning, because that's going to add to the anxiety. It's like letting a lot of people into your room, into your house in the morning as soon as you wake up, and that's kind of icky energy. Okay, so it's okay to look at one message or something, and you're like, okay, whatever I saw, as long as you feel calm, as long as you feel okay in your bed, waking up slowly, it's okay. And I know you might come up with the excuse of yeah, but I have kids. Yeah, but I have this. I have school. I have work. That doesn't mean that you don't have 15 minutes to wake up extra a little bit earlier. Okay, that didn't make sense the way I put that in a sentence. But that doesn't mean that you don't have the capacity to wake up 15 minutes earlier to actually regulate your nervous system when you wake up. No one has that excuse. You can do it. It's only 15 minutes. You can even do it in 10 if you want to, but for the first while, you're going to need a little bit more so that you can get used to it. Okay, another thing that I'd say I have done is, of course, consistently look at the people that are in my life. So that means I can do a clear out if I feel like some people are not aligned. Like if I see that they don't feel safe in my body, that they don't feel good for me, obviously I'm not going to have them in my life. That's just a conscious decision that I made a long time ago because it's not worth it, because I only have a certain amount of time on this earth and I'm not going to spend it people pleasing or showing up for people who make me feel like not good in my body. So that's important if you can, or at least if you live with people like that, hopefully not. If you feel like you live with people like that or parents or something, please try to like somehow adjust the situation, adjust your environment, okay? Um, have a hard look at your friendships, who you're dating, very important one, because if they're making you feel anxious, oh God, we're not looking good, okay? Mm-mm-mm. We're not looking good, okay? Have a hard look, strong look at who you're surrounded by, who you're dating, who is your boyfriend, who is your husband, who is it? Like what's happening around you, okay? And see how they make you feel. You can maybe make a like mind map of your connections, your close ones, then your further network, and then like your outer circle, I guess, and just see like if anybody is out of alignment, or even just like write down a journaling prompt like in my life, like what relationships are not feeling good to me, which ones are like basically making me feel like shit. Okay, you can write it down as it is. Okay. Another thing, oh, actually, this is a really interesting one. That a lot of people might not agree, but like, um, I used to do quite a lot of cardio. Um, that did have to do with like, of course, like previous eating disorders, like when I was young. Young, I'm still young, okay. But like when I was younger, of course. And what I would say is just have a look at what kind of exercise you're doing. Basically, what do you do on a day to day? My battery's dying. We're not cool with that. Yeah, okay. What do you do on a day to day that is potentially causing you to feel anxious and like speeding up your heart rate way too much? So for example, if you feel like generally speaking, you're very activated and there's a lot of kind of like there's a good bit of stress, for example, at work. What you don't want to be doing is just going straight to a fucking CrossFit class or like a high rocks or something like training to like add more stress into your body, and suddenly you're asking yourself why you don't sleep. How much coffee are you taking every day? How much like are you having coffee, tea, coffee, smoking a cigarette or something like, ask yourself like, what am I doing that is adding to the stress on my day to day? Okay, and what can I take away? What can I, because like you don't have to, for example, do a lot of cardio or do like CrossFit or whatever, all of these hard workouts. You can actually switch it to like something softer. Maybe you lift weights, maybe you do Pilates, maybe you swim, maybe you do dancing, maybe all of this. Something, even if it's only temporarily, until you feel a little bit softer in your body and your nervous system feels safe and regulated. So this is something that you can definitely try out. That's definitely something that helped me going from like I have to do cardio to like lifting weights calmly, going about my workouts 5 days a week or four, whenever it is. It's like it's a vibe because I'm not stressing myself the fuck out. I'm actually just lifting weights at my own pace. I'm relaxed. I am not panicking. That is not a panic mode. That is like a chill lifting weights mode. Yes, I push myself a little bit. Yes, I do. But like you don't see me stressing myself out in the gym. No, no, no. That's my calm moment. I'm going about my playlist. Which music should I listen to? Okay, cool. Like that's it. Okay. Of course, like making sure that you're eating enough is like a really obvious one. A really obvious one. Like if you're like, oh, I feel so anxious and all you've had today is like a coffee and 3 almonds, I have questions for you. Like, I don't know. Like, I think it's pretty obvious, no. Because I know that like a lot of girls would just go about and be like, I don't know, I'm just feeling so anxious. I'm like, you literally had 2 coffees and it's 7 p.m. Like you need to eat. It's a really obvious one, but I think like a lot of therapists actually miss out on this because they're not asking the question of like, are you eating? Like literally, of course I would ask this because like I've had the fucking situations I've been in, like with my EDs, but like it's a very obvious one. Like, stop starving yourself and remember to eat, okay? Like, girl. Also, if you're like, yeah, I think I mentioned this already, but like if you're spending a lot of time on like TikTok, social media, and like you're waiting for like a text from someone and all of this situation with your phone, you gotta give yourself breaks from your phone. This causes a lot of angst, it causes a lot of stress, and for what? For no reason. Okay, so be careful with that. Alcohol is a big one. Alcohol is a big one. Why? Because it impacts your sleep, and then it also impacts the next day. Because why? I don't know, you might be hungover, you might feel anxious, you might feel it's a depressant anyway. It's not ideal if you're feeling anxious. And in general, I mean, again, it's literally a drug, so like it's not ideal. So just try to keep that either nothing or very, very low. For me, it's nothing. But again, I've gone through phases where I'll have like a glass of wine or something and nothing happens. It's like, but I'm not, I don't vibe with it. Um, Check on your sleep, get your sleep hygiene in, check in the evenings. What are you doing to activate yourself? How can you stop activating yourself? Stop scrolling so much. Stop doing all that shit. Stop texting a guy who doesn't care about you. Like, stop doing the things that actually stress you out. I need to charge my phone. Yeah, stop stressing yourself out. Okay. And if there's anybody in your life that's stressing you out, then to talk about that. Okay. So these are the things that have definitely helped me. Find replacements for unhealthy habits that are making you feel anxious. Like, for example, when you feel like you're scrolling a lot, when you feel like you're doing things that are not good for you, buy yourself a book and try to not have it digital. I feel like physical books actually like are very grounding. There's something grounding about like having a physical book in your hand. Find little hobbies that have nothing to do with being on your phone. That could be like I know, finding like dancing classes. It could be going for hikes with your friends. It could be painting. Painting is fun. Painting is nice. And there goes my bag. It could be writing. It could be anything you can think of. It could literally be surfing. It could be, depending, of course, where you are, but like there's plenty of things that you can do that have nothing to do with scrolling or being on TikTok and being addicted to that. Yeah, being addicted to that kind of shenanigans. And that's kind of like the top of like what I can think of in terms of what's helped me with anxiety. I think like knowing my limits with caffeine has been a thing for me. And now like I have a really nice like level of intuition to know like, okay, like I've had 2 coffees, that's enough for today. And I'll have like 1 coffee, 1 matcha some days, maybe no caffeine another day, and that's it. Like just knowing exactly where your body's at really helps. Sleep is a really big part for sure. Like for anxiety, I feel like that has helped me hugely, like actually working on that. I remember I've gone to acupuncture a few times to help with my sleep. When I ever had like trouble with it in the past few years. And then it just went straight back to normal and I sleep really well. Like people are like, I literally don't know how you sleep so well. It's amazing. So really cool. So just try a few things that might help with that. What else? What else? I think that's like what I can think of off the top of my head right now. But useful, very useful. Drink some water, please. Just a reminder. Fucking drink some water. I am working on that myself. Mm, Sometimes I feel like I'm just not. I don't really prioritize drinking water, and I'm like, okay, babe, like in the gym, yes. But then after the gym, I kind of forget. So that's something that I can remind you and I can remind myself about. So, okay, go touch some plants. I don't know, like stand on some grass. No, I'm kind of joking, but also not. Like find your ways to ground yourself. Slow down your breathing. Have moments where you're doing nothing and be okay with it because your body needs to feel safety. Your body needs to feel like nothing wrong is happening and no chaos is happening, even though like the world always has some sort of chaos. Your body needs to feel like it's at peace and that there's safety within you. You need to feel safe within yourself and in your body. And you need to tell yourself that it is safe to be in your body, that my nervous system is regulated. I am calm, secure, and stable. I am relaxed. I am at peace, and I enjoy being at peace. Okay, so like you can also, of course, like look for affirmations that help with that to kind of top off like what it is that you're doing on a day to day. But it is absolutely possible to go from like a really, really, really anxious kind of like state, like frequently, to being like to having your baseline to be like calm, collected, secure, because I have done it. A lot of people have done it. It doesn't mean that we're always calm and stable. For sure, it does not. You best be believing if someone wrecks my head, I'll be like, what the fuck? But like, it really helps to have a baseline. That doesn't mean you're a monk. That doesn't mean I'm a monk. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But it means that you have a baseline to actually put up with things that will stress you out. So you have a higher tolerance for it and you have the capacity to hold life. That you have the capacity to hold shit that comes your way. Because obviously, this is life. It's not always going to look like this. It's going to be la 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 la. So it gives you space to actually deal with life, to manage yourself, and to manage situations that might come about, and to manage people. Okay, to like deal with people, not always be overreacting, not always having like this reaction to people and the way they show up. Okay, so people might try to trigger you. You don't always have to be triggered. Okay, babe. So we're going to leave it there because your girl has to go. But it was beautiful doing this video because I really, really like to help with this kind of stuff in general. And I hope you have a beautiful day, month, week, year, situation, vibes. And I hope that you feel nice, calm, and regulated. Maybe go light a candle for yourself. Put on some frequencies. Put on some, I don't know, whatever it is that you want to put on, whatever music, something to chill you out and just feel good in yourself. Okay? Do that for yourself. Take care of yourself. I love you. Mwah.